How's that?
So we'll be sitting or standing?
I think sitting. Oh. So how are you doing, guys? And what about, did they come to the prayer?
They come on Fridays, yes.
There was a student, they met, we had the breakfast the other night from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I forget his name. And he didn't know about the Muslims, so she, right.
What was that?
See, Gazi, you and me are to the left.
We are the
All right, favorite praise.
They're to the right. Gazi and Marcelo.
So, okay, I have the big responsibility.
No, you can do it.
There you go.
I mean, you keep Torah. That's a much bigger responsibility.
Marcelo.
Oh, yeah.
We are to the left.
You're
They are to the
you're
right.
to the right, and you're to the left.
No, they're to the right. Facing that way, we're leftists. Right?
Well, we're going to model civil discourse.
I'm always on the left.
No, we're the leftists. No, let's do like
It's
the
all
president
strong
debate.
women. Look.
Like what?
We'll do like the president. I'll make like I'm Donald
Ruth
Trump.
Bader.
And I'll talk.
Why are you saying that?
So-and-so
You're a
Meyer.
clown.
Good evening, everyone. Whoa, hi. Good evening. Welcome. This is very loud. Thank you all for being with us this evening. Welcome to a very special edition of Agape Latte. We have with us tonight the 5 Amigos. Yes. So we are very excited to have them with us and hear about their stories tonight. So I'm Valerie. I'm one of the campus ministers here at CHU. So I wanted to welcome all of you, not only our students who are sitting here in front of us, but anyone who is watching on our live stream, other members of our Sacred Heart community, and also I know members of Congregation Bethel are viewing, and maybe people from the UCC Church in Bridgeport. Hi to everyone on there, and anybody who's watching for Imam Gazi's community, the Albanian American community up in Waterbury. So thank you, everyone who's here. We're just welcome. So Agape Latte is our faith witness series. Our peer ministry students kind of ask staff members or members of the Sacred Heart community to share a story of what faith means in their life. And there's usually coffee, but tonight we have apple cider because it's fall. So that's available for you afterwards, so stick around for that. That's our latte portion of the evening.
And they have donuts.
And there's donuts to go with the apple cider, so don't miss on that.
Father Tony ate them all.
I baked them.
I'm gonna be quick and turn it right over to these guys because I'm looking forward to hearing from them. But the 5 Amigos we have here, and you'll get to know them a little better throughout the evening. But a really quick introduction is we have here Imam Gazi, who I said is Imam up in Waterbury from the Muslim community. We have our very own Father Tony Ciorra, Vice President for Mission here. We have Rabbi Marcelo and Reverend Sara, and also our very own Father Saji. And really, you're all our very own because you're all our Interfaith chaplains, and Sacred Heart is so blessed to have each of you as part of our community. And so really the 5 Amigos, this is their debut. So this is not the end. They're gonna be coming back next semester. This is the beginning. And really they just, leaders of different faiths who are coming together in the spirit of friendship, which is very important right now, the witness that they provide for that. So these are our panelists, and I also want to introduce our moderator, Colleen. Come a little closer, Colleen. Come on up here. So Colleen is a junior here. She's a political science major and a member of our peer ministry team with an interest in interfaith. So she's here to help ask our questions this evening of our panelists and keep it flowing. So we're grateful that you're here. You may have received, hopefully, an index card on your way in. Raise your hand if you need an index card. You may be a few people. Okay, so Ken, Nicolina, and maybe an Amy, if you can pass the cards around. So if you have a question for our panelists throughout, as they're talking, if they say something that you're like, I want to know more about that, or maybe just a question that you wanted to ask an imam or a rabbi or a priest or a minister, write it down, and we'll have a time for open questions at the end. If you're joining us via live stream, you can make a question in the comments, and we'll be trying to get to as many of them as we can at the end of the evening. So I think that's enough of your time that I've taken up, and I'm going to pass it to Colleen, who's going to start us off with some icebreaker questions for our panelists.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. So, as you can see, everyone's friends here. There's a lot of mutual love and respect, and I think one of the main things we were focusing on when we were creating this event was that there's really, yes, you can believe in different things, but at the end of the day, we all have our beliefs. That doesn't make us different. Our beliefs actually make us stronger, and because we believe in something, it forms a greater bond. So I think that's something that I want you guys to keep in mind tonight, and also that everyone up here, they are people, yes, they are in religious power, if you will, but at the end of the day, they are people. And I think one of the things that I was most excited for about this event was kind of just, peeling a layer back so you guys can get to know them, come into the office, pop in and say hello, just chat with them, because at the end of the day, they're all pretty great people, I'm not gonna lie. So I think one of the things I want everyone to keep in mind here tonight is that after this is an icebreaker event. We want you guys to keep a relationship with everyone up here. So that being said, in terms of getting to know them, we have some fun questions that we prepared, so we're gonna ask you. So this is for everyone, so whoever wants to step up first. But everyone always asks, what superpower do you want? But what's one superpower that you don't want, you would never want to have?
Who's going first?
Going first.
All right, Father Saji. Let's go.
Father Saji. A superpower that you
I
don't
don't
want.
want the power of God. I just want to be a simple human being.
Hold on. You guys can actually stand up to the mic when the questions are asked, that way we can.
Yeah, I don't want the power of God. I never want. I just want to be a simple human being.
All right. Well, hi, I'm Reverend Sara, and I thought I had superpowers, so much for that. The one I do not want is the ability to read other people's minds, because I don't think we want to know what most people are thinking. Am I wrong? No. All right.
So hello everybody, I'm Rabbi Marcelo, and the superpower that I won't like to have is to predict the future. Because I think that we make choices at every single second, every minute of our lives. So if I would know the future, my life would be so boring. So I wouldn't like to predict the future.
Excellent.
Good answer. Hi, everybody. I am Imam Gazi, right? And I do not want to be able to levitate. Oh, yeah, you know, like when you get up and levitate. And there was a saint that did this, St. Joseph Cupertino, and I was in his room. Did you know him? In the 17th, well, I wasn't in the 17th century, but he would fly out the window. And so when you go to his room in Assisi, there's bars on the window because he would fly out. And he's also patron of students taking examinations. Because if you feel like you want to fly out the window, pray to St. Joseph Cupertino. But I don't want to fly. Or levitate, I mean.
So, salam, peace, everyone. The superpower I don't want to be is, I want to have is being Father Tony. I'm kidding. I would like to have that superpower, but it's too late now. So, I don't want to have the ability of listening everything that people speak or seeing everything that people do. And I think this is one of the best things when we think about our God. He knows everything what we do. He sees everything what we do, but he still loves us. I don't know if I would be able to love my beloved people around me if I would know everything they speak and talk.
Excellent, Gazi.
Great answers, guys. So the next question is, if you were an ice cream flavor, what flavor would you be and why?
Ice cream flavor.
What flavor would you be and why?
So we go from there now?
Yeah.
So, you know that every time that Father Tony speaks, he speaks about ice creams. So if I would be an ice cream, I don't want Father Tony eating me. So whatever he doesn't eat, I want to be that flavor.
Okay, now I am Rabbi Marcelo, right? So I believe ice cream proves the existence of God. So that's why every day you should eat ice cream. Now, people who work with me know I usually don't eat this, but I did tonight because I knew that I was going to come here and you were going to ask that question. So this is useless information, but there's an ice cream brand called Enlightened. Have you heard of it? It's only 80 calories. So I had caramel chocolate and vanilla before I came here tonight with whipped cream.
Okay, I like that. I may get some of that, that's good. So as you can tell from my accent, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. No. So I'm from Latin America. I was born in Chile. I lived for many years in Argentina. And if you're familiar with the Latin American culture, you know that one of the best things that we have in Latin America is dulce de leche. Have you ever tried the dulce de leche? So that would be my favorite ice cream flavor for sure, dulce de leche.
Okay, so several of you, when I've met you, say, okay, so are you Christian? Yes, I'm Protestant. That's one of three main branches of Christianity. It's Catholic, Orthodox, and Protestant. And Protestant means everybody that's not Catholic or Orthodox, because they just clump them all together. But I'm in the last house on the left. I'm United Church of Christ, and that was a real progressive liberal, so I just wanted to clear that up. Now to ice cream. I don't want to be just ice cream. I want to be a hot fudge sundae. Listen, that is a proof of God. And then I want like pecans, because I'm from the South. We want pecans, not pecans. I don't know where you all learn how to talk. And pecans, and then, okay, see, are you with me? See, I see some nods out there. An amen or two will really encourage me. And so we want good vanilla beans with flecks, and then hot fudge all over it, and then nuts on top of that. I didn't get this size by accident. Father Tony can eat all the nuts and twigs he wants. I'm eating the hot fudge sundae.
For me now it's easy. I have 4 choices. Just need. Yeah, it's a kind of fun question, but I need to share with you a reality. I came to know that there is something called ice cream when I was 16 when I joined the seminary. I ate ice cream when I was maybe 17. That was a vanilla ice cream. Oh my God, what is it? It's very cold. It's very hot. Anyway, after that, butterscotch was my favorite ice cream, So I still hold on to that one, butterscotch.
And what flavor did you say?
Butterscotch?
Oh, I love that.
You like that too?
Oh, I like them.
Oh my God. You should open an ice cream store.
So the next question that we have for you guys is, what is your favorite gift that you have received? So birthday, life advice, really anything.
The favorite gift you received. Oh, I can tell you.
Yeah, that question is very easy for me to answer, because the greatest gift, I know it's a fun question, but again, the greatest gift that I got in my life is my faith. It's because of my faith that I'm able to stand before you. Just think about that. In India, there are 103 billion people, and there are 850 billion Hindus, and we Hindus are just 1.3 million. So, I'm sorry, maybe 100 million, and happen to be one of the Christian, or how lucky to have the faith in Jesus, born to be a Christian. So I feel the greatest gift in my life is my faith.
Wow, beautiful.
Well, I'm afraid we're all going to go material downhill from here. I have 2 favorite gifts. One was the robe that I received when I was ordained. It was 27 years ago. And I was a lawyer and gave that up for Lent. And, oh, thank you. I need feedback. That's good. Anyway, when I knelt and they put their hands on me and I was ordained, it was the most powerful thing that's ever happened to me. And then they gave me my robe and stole and said, oh, go do it. Oh. So that's good. But then also, my daddy died about 11 years ago. And before we lost our farm at bankruptcy, because we were just a simple family farm and we couldn't make it, and he worked so hard, he went in and he cut down all the cherry and walnut and maple trees and stashed the wood. Now, my daddy was a good United Methodist. He never did a thing wrong except that. But he learned how to make furniture after we lost the farm. And he made me beautiful furniture off of cherry wood. So I have the farm with me. And so you go to my home, and all my furniture is cherry, and it's handmade, and it's shaker style, and it's beautiful. So I would say that when my daddy gave me my china cabinet, that he had handmade. And y'all, he only had, these 2 fingers were cut by a farming accident. He did all of that with nubs. Anyway, so I think of him all the time. And in that china is all my dishes for my mother. So they go with you, people.
So you can see here, this is a beautiful space, beautiful sacred space. In Judaism, we have beautiful synagogues. And when I was serving my synagogue in Santiago, in Chile, we needed to move the synagogue that was built in the 50s or 40s in downtown Santiago. We needed to move it to another location where the Jewish families were moving. So in the process, we needed to dismantle a beautiful stained glass window. So beautiful with colors and small rocks of colors. It was really beautiful. And in the process of dismantling, you cut the stones, and some fell and some others could be moved. So some people got as a gift a small part of that stained glass window that represents the presence of God in that particular sanctuary, but also the presence of God in our lives. So I was very privileged to get one of those small stones. It's a beautiful purple one as a gift, and I carry it with me wherever I go, wherever my family goes, and it always reminds me of my origins, and it reminds me of the presence of God in my life as well.
Okay, I wish I could say I'm Reverend Sara, but the hairdo doesn't work. So there you go. 2 gifts I would talk about. One, did you go to the Taj Mahal in India? Yes. You know it. So in India is I haven't been there, by the way, but I had this beautiful picture. It's like a wood carving of the Taj Mahal. So I had it framed. The beautiful painting was a black backdrop, and then it was all wood. And this was kind of expensive when I bought this thing. And I gave it to my sister for Christmas. And she, this is beautiful, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth, and whatever. Well, 5 years go by, and it's my birthday. And she gives me that as a gift. I said, I gave this to you for Christmas. I said, you give it now for my birthday, whatever. She forgot that I was the one who gave it to her, right? So I have this thing, and it's a reminder to laugh at myself and my family whenever I have it in my room, all right? And it's just a reminder to me, this is life. It's kind of like kooky. We do stuff like this, right? So it goes. And the other one is from my mother. My mother, it was going to be her 90th birthday. And every year I would tell her something about what's going to happen at this party we were going to have for her. And we had like 100 people coming and all this food and so on and so forth. And so about a week before the party, she tells me that she thinks she's going to die before this party. So I said to her, if you die before this party, I will kill you. I said, you can't do this, right? I said, you can die after the party, but not before the party, right? Absolutely not. I said, don't even think about this. So what happens is, she really was ready to die, but I wouldn't let her because we had this party going on. So anyway, what happens is, about 2 months later, she's being rushed to the hospital, right? And she gets rushed to the hospital, and that's when she dies. But she had this fruit in this bag. Now they're taking her out on a stretcher, and she says, oh, those fruits are for my son Anthony. She goes, so she says there's fruits. And also, there's some brochures there for him to read with his sisters, and it was how to deal with your mother's death. So she left me fruits, and she left me this thing about dealing with her death, right? But I had the fruits stuffed. So I have them. I still have these fruits. It wasn't cheap either. I think, what do they put in? I don't know how they do it, formaldehyde or something? Whatever they do, I have the stuffed fruits from my mother that she left for me when she was going to the hospital. So, nice story.
And he's going to give them to you for Hanukkah.
So we live in times when where finding a good gift is like finding a good movie to watch on Netflix. So you have to think a lot and search and Google, etc. That's why I think that the best gift, which I remember, is the cake that my grandma used to cook for me. And I think that what we need today is sincerity and love. A flower with sincerity and love might be more valuable than an iPhone 12. What's the latest one? The last one. So the best gifts are the ones with sincerity and love. So my grandma's cake, I think, wins number one. Thank you.
So it was awesome getting to know you guys a little better and breaking the ice a little bit. So we're going to ask you some, as we call them, deep questions. And we want to hear from all of you guys, so we're just going to try to keep it to like 3-ish minute responses. But the first question that we have is, if someone told you that when you were in college that you were going to be a leader in your faith tradition, how would you have reacted?
Before or after the sorority party?
So I think that by choosing theology, it's already a promise that you have for yourself. It's a future which is, you plan for. Theology usually doesn't offer the leadership. What theology offers is service. So what's the goal of someone who goes for theology is to serve people. So, and then being a leader, being famous, being here or being there, where Val is, for a good chaplain, I don't think that's important. For someone, for people of faith, whenever you have the chance to serve humanity, I think that's your goal. Otherwise, I might love to be in the next debate that's tonight, but we are happier when we are on stage with good people and we share our faith and our good feelings. So I think that by going for theology, it's something which you prepare yourself. Being a leader or no, for me personally, it's not important. Sometimes might be even a challenge because you always want to be professionally sincere, and when you are a leader, that might become hard. Thank you.
Beautiful. You said 30 minutes? Oh, 3. All right, takes 3 minutes to say hello, right? Okay, I'll try to stay in the 3 minutes and tell me when the time is up, right? The clock is ticking, right? 2 minutes already. Yeah, when I was in college, by the way, I was in college in the last century. So this is the 21st century, I was the 20th century. So in college, there was a group of students who thought they were going to be priests or ministers. So I went to this meeting to see what it was like, and I said, well, gee, maybe I think I want to do this, right? And then I looked around, not about you personally. I says, oh my God, I don't want to be with these guys. I says, I don't want to do this, right? And I won't go on that point. So what happened was, there was somebody in my class, his name is Jimmy Heimlich, and he lives down on Long Beach Island. So Jimmy said, you have to be a priest. I says, I do not want to be a priest. I don't want to hang out with those people. Done, right? So then he says, well, what are you going to be? I says, I want to be a lawyer like you. So I wanted to be a lawyer, actually. So he came in every day to talk me out of this from being a lawyer. He says, you can't do this and blah, 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 blah. I says, why not? I'm going to be a lawyer. Then he got this priest to come and see me. Somebody else came in to see me. They were like torturing me. So finally, I go, okay, fine. I'll be a priest. You people just stop bothering me.
We want to find those guys.
Well, I want to tell you, here's the best part of the story. This Jimmy Heimlich, who's down on Long Beach Island, guess what? He became a lawyer and a judge, right? I said, but I always tell him now, he's a very, very dear friend. I say, Jimmy, I'm glad you talked me into it because I love it. Time is up? Good.
It's about 6 minutes, just saying here. So I just want to tell you that my college time was one of the best times of my life. So I'm sure that you are also experiencing that time in your life. So enjoy this stage, enjoy this time, because you're not going to live your college time again. So enjoy it very much. And if someone would have said to me that I was going to be a rabbi back then, in my particular case, my rabbinate or my desire to become a rabbi started very early in my life. I was very fortunate and blessed to have rabbis who inspired me when I celebrated my bar mitzvah when I was 13, and then when I attended youth movement, and then I decided to move from Chile to Argentina to complete my rabbinical studies. So I would have said, yes, maybe. But now that I look back, I think it started early in my life, and it was pretty clear to me that I wanted to serve. As Imam Gazi said, I wanted to serve the Jewish community, I wanted to serve other people, and make their lives more meaningful and a little better than what their lives was at that particular moment. So it was pretty clear to me that I wanted to be a rabbi, and here I am as a rabbi. Yeah.
I'm glad. Well, when I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a minister. But I thought that's what nerds did, so I'm not going to do it. And I preached my first sermon when I was 14, but that's what nerds do. I'm not going to do that. And so then I went to college at Texas Christian University. It's a Disciples of Christ school. I was student body president, outstanding leader. They got plaques with my name on them all over the school. So I thought, well, then obviously I need to do something important. I will be a lawyer. Yuck. It was the worst thing, and now, I pay off my student loans for law school the year I retire. So be careful about these decisions, people. Now, am I proud I'm a lawyer? Yes, because as a woman, no one can take that from me. And I can think and I solve problems, which in ministry, it's what we do every day. But then I realized I was miserable. I was beating my head against his door, and a group I had been doing ministry with, they said, don't you see what you ought to be? And so I gave up being a lawyer and went to seminary. It's a second career. And I'm with Father Tony. I absolutely love it. I wake up ready to go and get back to it, and I go to sleep thinking of what I get to do the next day. Because you get to help people. I love God, and I try to follow Christ. But I also love the folks that don't do that. We must learn to get along. And working interfaith does not challenge my faith. It makes it go deeper. Because I learn, what does the sacred mean to Imam Gazi? And then it makes me think about what is sacred to me. So, God's big enough to suck all of us in. And, but anyway, I wore my strong woman tie, my scarf tonight, because I didn't want these guys to get any ideas that us gals cannot do this work. Now, one other thing about being a minister. I think everybody in my college would have thought I would have been, because I was chaplain of this and did this, and I gave inspirational talks and stuff. But it has the highest rate of satisfaction of any profession. It also has the highest burnout rate. So my thing about whatever career you do, love what you do, because you're going to spend more time doing it than anything. And you want to be able to get up and go, and you work hard, and it's worth it. So that's how I got here, and I'm very grateful.
I think I don't need to talk because Father Tony and Reverend Sara took my time also.
We ganged up.
Okay, I'm running short of time.
This is like the debates.
Yeah, for me, again, it's a faith question, I joined the seminary, I never wanted to be a priest. You come to me sometimes, some of you come to me for confession. I'm making a public confession today because when I joined the seminary at the age of 16, I was not sure whether I wanted to be a priest. But 13 years inside the seminary, it was, I never had a college experience outside. If you ask me, now I am enjoying the college life with you. I think I told myself that I don't want to be a priest. But the story, the faith, the God's plan that I firmly believe in, we were 17 of us when I joined the minor seminary. At the end, though I always used to tell me that, Saji, you are not going to be a priest, God chose me. I was the only one remained, and God ordained. So that's my faith journey, that because being in seminary, there is no one need to tell you that you are going to be somebody. Being in seminary means you are going to be a priest or a religious brother. So I kind of fully, that's why I said faith is the greatest gift that I got in my life. It's just because of that faith, God called me, and I got ordained as a priest. And today I stand before you as your priest, as your friend, as your guide. Thank you.
Can you guys, okay. Okay, so most people here are college students, and we're all on our own journeys, whether that be education, life, spiritual. So this next question is for Father Saji and Reverend Sara. And the question that we wanted to ask you was, how did you get to where you are now, and how do you not know for certain, but just like are content in where you are and know that like, I'm in the right place at the right time, and this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm meant to be doing, and kind of just following this path that God has set out for all of us, even though we don't know the end destination, but just kind of like making sure that you know you're on your right path.
You going first?
Because I already answered that question and somehow, but still I want to share with you a story when I was 4 years old. It's a painful story that really changed or transformed my life. I was 4 years old, not supposed to remember everything. It's not age of reason. My brother, my older brother and myself was playing outside our house. It's a kind of, a house with a coconut roof and leaves made out of those days, 42 years back. And one of our neighbors, I only 3 minutes, one of the neighbors' brother, who is a lunatic, he was a little bit crazy. He was chasing his brother's wife and 2 kids. And that lady, my brother and myself playing outside our house, the lady came with her 2 kids and entered our house and closed the door before us. The man, who was a little bit lunatic and crazy, thought my older brother is one of the lady's kids. And my brother started running, and he chased him and put a spade, what we use for digging the ground, and his head was split into 2 like that. But I was just 3 years old. He did not chase me. And I remember it was kind of 8 miles away. The nearest motor vehicle is available. So my neighbors took my brother walking 8 miles, and he took to a 100-mile away hospital, and he survived. But the real story is that my mother took me to a nearby church and showed me the crucifix and said, "My dear son, this is a man who died for you, and he is going to save your brother." And my brother is still alive today. And that's made me to make that decision to become a kind of that faith, though I told myself I never want to be a priest, but that faith that I got from my parents, from my mother, enable you to stand before you tonight and to say, I'm so proud of myself, being close to my faith, being close to my God. And also I can also embrace everyone that come to me with their pains and troubles, irrespective of religion or any kind of differences that we experience.
But that faith I experienced when I was 4 still sustained me to be a wonderful human.
I got so wrapped up in your story, I forget the question. Well, y'all remember how I wanted to be somebody important? There's nothing more important than walking with people through life. And so I guess how I got where I am, one, I work hard. I work a lot, and I'm good at it. I juggle, but mostly, and I think Father over here's got it, you have to have a heart for people. Even when they're not lovable, our job is to love you all. Your job is to love us too, don't forget that part. And I don't know if I decided where I was going to be, Colleen. I answered God's call. I've been a minister in Colorado. I've been a minister in Buffalo, New York, which I'm never going back there. I don't care what God says. I'm not going there again. Okay, and then I've been in Pennsylvania. I'm not going there either. And then I got here in Connecticut. I'm from the South. We don't even know how to spell Connecticut, and much less find it on a map, But I love it here, even though people make fun of how I talk. But I found out that I am something important because I'm a child of God, and so are you. And if we all could grasp that, think how we would be different, how think we would treat others if we saw a child of God in them. And I get to talk about that all the time. I get to live and work on that all the time. So what gets me going is people, because God has asked me to love them and care for them and guide them and help them and pick up the pieces when life falls apart. And also, though, to help them try to get connected back to the holy and to stay connected myself. And on top of that, then, I want to work on justice. I'm called, the Gospels are clear, that we are to take care of all of God's children. And, you can go back into this guy's book. Jesus didn't make anything up new, sorry. He borrowed all of it from the prophets. We can go back to both sides of our scripture, and we see what we're called to do, all of us. And to get to be able to lead that, woo! Love it.
So thank you guys for sharing, especially Father Saji. That is a very heavy story, and we appreciate you here so much and sharing your stories with us. So thank you both, Reverend Sara and Father Saji, for sharing. The next question is for Imam Gazi, Father Tony, and Rabbi Marcelo. And this question is, Reverend Sara actually kind of segued us into this, but where we are now, and any way you look at it in the world, where there's nothing but division and differences, and it's scary thinking that there's so much that makes us different. What possibly can hold us together and kind of connect us all? So from working with other faith leaders, what have you learned about them, and what have you learned from each other that you can take into the secular world, as we'll call it, and learn to just unite us, I guess?
So thank you for the question. In about 1 hour and 10 more minutes, we're trying to model here, civil discourse and how we can talk to each other regardless of our differences and our faith. So I hope that in 1 hour and 10 minutes we can see something similar going on with the presidential debate and discuss ideas and projects that we have for the future of this great nation. So I want to share with you 2 things about the question that you were asking. The first one is that I've learned with my work with wonderful colleagues from other faiths, the first thing that it reassured me is that sometimes I feel that I have most in common with spiritual people from other faiths or my faith than I have in common with people from my faith that they don't necessarily believe in God or practice their religion. And I think that that's something very deep, because we live in a world that we try to make deep connections with other people. And that connections that I've made have been wonderful with my colleagues here and around the country and around the world, with people who share this love for religion. They are deeply connected to the source of life, God, and their passion and their love for their tradition. So sometimes I feel that I have more in common with people that share my same values, that share the strong faith in God, regardless of the religion that they have. So my work, my interfaith work, really reassured that to me. And the second one is that, going back to what Reverend Sara was saying, from my book, from the Torah, when God created us, the Torah says that we were created in the image and likeness of God, right? And the fact that we were all created in the image and likeness of God is my understanding that it's regardless of our faith, right? We should all see each other in the eyes and recognize that we were all created in the image and likeness of God, and that we should love each other because we all come from the same divine and holy source that is God. So I've learned that through my interfaith work, and that has been one of the greatest privileges of my life.
Okay, I want you all to know these are the 5 amigos, right? But we, Gazi, Marcelo, and I, we are the original 3 amigos, all right? Yeah. So there you go. There they go. You're add-ons, because we started as 3 amigos a couple of years ago, remember? Oh, so yeah. We started, and we made the radio show.
And it's definitely
all right?
got an improvement this year.
There you go. Well, anyway, how many of you were at the breakfast the other night? None of you? The midnight breakfast, okay. So I was at the breakfast the other night, and we were having a lot of fun. And there was a student there, I was telling Gazi about this, from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm there chatting with him and blah, blah, blah. He says, now this is all women, all girls. He was the only guy in the whole place. So he says to me, are there any guys that go to school here? Yeah. I says, yeah, but they don't eat breakfast. I says, I don't know why they're not here, right? So anyway, I'm chatting with him, and I said to him, actually, you realize I am a Muslim in my heart, right? Well, at this point, Saji comes over, and he looks at me and says, yeah, last week he said he was a Jew, this week he says he's a Muslim. But I love all the religions, and I'll tell you briefly how it happened, how I got into this. Were you around for 9/11, or were you born yet or no? You were? Were the rest of you born or not born? You heard about it though, right? You know about it, okay. What happened was 9/11, of course, that was September of 2001, right? Well, in November, I was going to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. You probably never heard of it. So I get to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I'm reading now mind you, this is after the bombings and so on and so forth, and I'm reading the paper on the airplane, and the Muslims in Cedar Rapids were, wanted to build this camp for the children. But the people in Cedar Rapids at the time were against this because they felt every Muslim carried a bomb, right? So they were very, very anti-Muslim, right? So anyway, I'm reading this, and I get to Cedar Rapids, and I was doing stuff for the diocese there. So they said to me, I told them about this article that I read on the plane, that this is terrible. They won't let these people build this camp and whatever. They then told me that, I don't know if you know this, the first Muslim mosque in the United States is in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Did you know this? No, you don't know a lot of things, guys. Right? Yeah, this is it. I know more about the Muslim. So it's the first mosque, right? And so I said, I want to go to that mosque. Go quicker. Okay, I want to go to that mosque. So they bring me there, and the Imam there has the black belt in karate, right? And he showed me all the pictures. They were all from Lebanon. The Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians all worked together in the 19th century. Long story short, so I had this mass. There's like maybe 2,000 people. And the Imam said, I want to come. So he was sitting in the first row. Now, these are bishops and all these yuckety mucks and whatever. The end of the Mass, I said, I want the Muslim to come and give the blessing. Now, the bishop is there, and I said, who cares, right? So he comes up, gives the blessing. We start walking down the aisle, and somebody starts singing, Let There Be Peace on Earth. And everybody, all 2,000 people. And what struck me that day was that religious people have a better chance of bringing this thing together than politicians do, right? And that was the beginning of my interfaith journey. Okay.
Well, I come from a country where interreligious relationship doesn't have a name because we are same people from the same race which have different beliefs. So in the same street you might have a church and a mosque since centuries. That's why it wasn't hard for me to co-work with my colleagues. What I learned is that, and I kind of have now this as an idea which explains this to others, is that all good people are in the same side. And there are always good people from every race, every religion, every street, every country. And we have to discover this power of the good people and working together. Good people with the good people. And for me personally, this was one of the reasons why I chose to go for theology. Because there were things which I didn't like in ministry. And there are two options. And I think this is still valid for every generation. One option is leaving that area. I don't think it's smart leaving the area of spirituality. That's the most important thing in our lives. We're seeing that in 21st century where we have everything, but we complain like we have nothing. And I think that's because of the lack of spirituality and religion. So I asked this question, is it more smart to leave something which I think didn't work, or going there and trying to improve? So during my high school, I was a champ of math, and it was a shock for entire family and friends because I was the first one from a private school there to go and choose to go for theology. And I think this is still valid today. I am sure you're not happy with our ministry. There are a lot of things which you talk together, sometimes just by your silence, sometimes by not participating because you don't like this generation's ministry. There are two options. You help us to change this, or you become yourself a changer. So this is one of the main messages that I learned from my amigos here, my amigos in Waterbury area, my amigos everywhere. I think that there are amigos everywhere which we just have to identify them and work together. So God bless you all. I believe in the power of the women, of the girls, but I believe more in His power because He's the only one. God bless you.
Awesome answers, guys. Thank you so much. This ends the formal question and answer portion. But I just wanted to say that, again, thank you immensely to our 5 amigos standing up here. This is only the beginning of the conversations that we're going to have. This is just the first installment of the 5 amigos conversations of Agape Latte. So if we have this again, please come back. We loved hearing you talk. I know I did. I hope everyone else did as well. Hallie's going to do some trivia, and if anybody has questions written on the cards, I'm going to walk around and pick them up, but thank you again. Thank you so much.
Like Colleen said, thank you. So now it's time to try to win some prizes. We have a yoga mat that you can use at Holy Yoga, a water bottle, an ice cream maker, a Zen garden, and a cozy blanket, because I know I've been freezing lately, but...
What's the last thing?
Blanket.
A blanket?
Yes.
After you make ice cream?
Yes. So the first question is, what is the largest religion in the world? What is the largest religion in the world?
Largest or
Largest. Any guesses?
This one.
It is not.
That's a good guess, though, because there's lots of...
Layla? It is. You can come and pick your prize. While she's picking her prize, the next question is, how many books are in the Torah? Kathleen? Yes. Congrats.
She got an invitation to the synagogue.
Yeah.
The next question is, the word Islam translates to what? It is not, I think, right? Oh, it is peace too? Okay. That's not what I had down, but yeah.
Even if you would say something else, I would.
The next question is, what former pope's feast day is celebrated today? Red shirt. Good job. And the last question is, where is the holiest city in Islam located?
They can get 2 gifts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Say something.
Mecca.
Yeah, no prize.
No prize.
Next question.
That was my last question. Father Saji, do you want the yoga mat?
Go for it, Father Saji.
Thanks for playing.
I already have one, so I give
Yeah.
to my
Oh, thank you.
So we have a question that I'm going to address to you, but before, I'm going to shamelessly plug Curtis Week, which is an interfaith week. So if you loved this conversation today and want to further that discussion, we'll be having Curtis Week virtually this year. It's January 11th to the 14th, and applications go out in 3 days? 3 weeks. There's a little charades between us, but we got it.
Rabbi, Marcelo's on Thursday. I'm on Monday. We're filling up the week. You don't want to miss it.
Perfect. So we definitely want to keep these conversations going, so I highly encourage you guys to check out anything that we offer. So this question was from the audience. Everyone can answer it, but we're just going to ask that we keep the question or the answer a little shorter this time, but answer it to as fully as you can, because we love hearing what you have to say. But the question is, do you feel like you have to identify with a specific religion and label yourself, or can you do your own thing and figure out what religion means to you? So let that simmer for a little bit.
That's for us.
Oh my God. Can we get a prize? Well, in other words, do you have to identify with religion or not, and then figure it out as
While
you
they
go?
discuss. So when it comes to, there is a saying in Islam that the ways to know God are as the number of people. So possibly, on paper, it is possible to find a way. But if you have Google Maps, if you have some apps which shows you the way, I don't know how smart is trying to find a way on your own. It's better to study those maps and see where it doesn't work, where is traffic, you know what I mean? And then you can kind of modify or having your own way of living. But I think that what we are seeing today is this fashion of trying to be unique. I think that uniqueness of prophets is that they always didn't choose themselves, but they always think about the other. It's like our mothers. They are unique, not because they just live their own way, but sometimes they choose things just for us. So just to cut it short, I believe that there are ways how to experience your spirituality, but it should be a way, a mainstream way, a highway, which sends you and helps you to still be on the track. Thank you.
I'm going. I think there are many paths to God, or whatever you want to call God. And I don't think God cares which one you're on, but God cares if you're on one, because otherwise you're going to get really lost. Now, I don't mean rigid rules. I'm not talking about rules. I'm talking about relationship with the holy. There's a great Buddhist saying that there are many wells to the one water. Whatever well you drink from it deeply. Because then you can be with your friends that drink from it differently. But you understand how important it is to Imam Gazi, his faith is to him, because it's that important to me. I've drunk from my well deeply. So I think there's a difference between, do we have to pick a religion, or are we going to also have a community? None of these faiths are all about us. It's about living in a community. And I think where folks get really lost is when they don't have that. Now, I'm down on the liberal side of Christianity, but I still profess what I believe. I still have that relationship, and I have that community. And so I can relate with everybody, or try to. Even the folks who, when they find out I came out 25 years ago and I actually got ordained as a minister and I happen to be gay and people go berserk, I'm like, hey, God and I are fine and the church is lucky to have me. Because I have drunk from my well deeply. I love God so much so I don't love anything else too much. So what my prayer for you would be is drink from your well, whatever well it is, because life is hard and you're going to need it. And then you have understanding when someone else has done the same, even if they say it different and do it different and pray different. Those differences are not near as important as the well they come from.
So tell me your favorite board game. Can someone say, yeah? Can someone tell me what's your favorite board game? Monopoly. Clue. Live. I love backgammon, for example. Do you know how to play backgammon, by the way? It's a great game. So the way that I like to picture different religions is each game has its own rules. Right? So backgammon has its rule, chess has its rules, Monopoly has its rule. And if you try to apply each of these rules to another game, you cannot play it. Right? So the same with religion. Each religion has its own rules, its own way of life, understanding your life, messages, values, traditions, history, language, you name it. But the goal of each game is the same, is to win the game. And I think that the same is with religion. You follow that game in order to win. What are we trying to accomplish with our religions, at least in my religion, is to make this world a better world. And I think that we all share the same. We all share the same idea of bringing more meaning to our lives, trying to make this world and trying to make our society a better one. So going back to the analogy that Reverend Sara was using, when you're playing your game, try to be the best playing your game. Try to win your game and try to bring that to other people who enjoy other games and try to invite them to understand why this is your favorite game and not theirs. But you can get into that conversation with them in order to make this world a better world and our society a better society. And I just want to close by saying something that Imam Gazi was talking about traffic. A couple of years ago, I delivered a sermon about the GPS. Right, the GPS that you need in order to get to your destination. And I said, GPS stands for God Positioning System. It's not only arriving to your destination, but it's also knowing what God is asking you to do in order to make this society and our world a better place.
Maybe this is the last question. What religion means to me. I'm so proud to be a Christian and blessed to be a Catholic. But at the same time, if I preach, I never tired of preaching. For me, the true religion is relationship. True religion is love. True religion is peace. The true religion is our capacity to forgive and which help us to be happy, which help us to be wonderful human beings together. That religion I'm ready to embrace anytime, any moment in my life.
Okay, I at one time taught high school boys. I could write a book about this. And I had this one kid in my class, he wrote on the exam, only God can answer all these questions, right? So I wrote back, 100% for God, 0 for you, right? So at the end of the semester, this is stupid to do something like this. At the end of the semester, we used to use these blue books. I don't know if we still have them or not. He comes, takes the exam, throws the blue book on my desk, and he says, Father Tony, I've been in your class for a whole semester, and guess what? I didn't find God. Goodbye. So I looked at him, I said, Richard, don't worry about it. Don't worry. He says, God will find you, right? Well, sure enough, a couple of years go by, he comes back. He says, God did find me. I said, what happened? He says, my father was sick and he died. And before he died, he told me for the first time that he loved me, and I forgave him for a bunch of things. And God found me, right? So my point would be, God loves you exactly as you are. And when it comes to religion, you can get all hung up on a lot of rules and regulations. It's not what religion is about. Wherever you are at right now, don't worry about it. God loves you exactly as you are. Pope Francis is very big into this. He tells us, take people where they're at and accompany them where they're at, not where I'd like them to be. So today, for example, he came out, he talked about civil unions. He said, that's good. That's a good thing, civil unions. He also says, what's most important is we take care of the poor. And he breaks a lot of the rules. Religion's not about rules. But the most important thing he tells us, as ministers and rabbis and imams, to take people where they're at and accompany them. And if we accompany you, listen, wherever you're at, God will find you. So don't worry about it.
All right, well, thank you guys, you five amigos. No more questions. Thank you, five amigos. Thank you, our audience, for coming. We appreciate you guys coming. So it is Agape Latte, so of course we have snacks and goodies for you guys. So you're more than welcome to stay, chat, and enjoy everything. So thank you all for coming out, and we appreciate you all.
Thank you for the sixth amigo for that.
Yeah.
We're going to stay and make more questions.
Yeah, so
How
I
many
mean,
questions? Just let us know.
like I said before, this is just the beginning.